Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn a new unit. The theme of the unit is humor. Look at this picture. What do you find here? We find a mirror and a monkey in this picture, right? So, by seeing this monkey, uh, what do you understand? This monkey is little bit stylish. How we can say, as it is looking into the mirror and also it is wearing t-shirt and pant, right? So down we have some questions. On seeing the picture, how do you feel? When we see this picture, how do we feel? We start laughing because as a monkey is looking into the mirror, we get laugh, right? The monkey in the picture seems to be like a stylish monkey. What would have prompted the monkey to look at its own reflection in the mirror? What made the monkey to look into the mirror? Even when we find a mirror in front of us, we start looking into it. In the same way, the monkey also started to look into the mirror. Now, read the story in which a doctor describes a snake that looks into a mirror. Now, we are going to learn a story which is narrated by a doctor about a snake which looks into the mirror. And the name of the lesson is The Snake and the Mirror. Has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? A full blooded cobra. All of us felt silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with the tale. Here, who is telling the tale means a story. Means this story. Who is telling the story? Homeopath. Homeopath means a person who treats sick people using homeopathy. So, what he is telling about a snake. The story was about the snake. So when they were discussing about the snakes, this doctor has questioned his friends, saying that, has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? Means, coiled means to make something into a round shape. So he is asking that whether any time a snake uh, coiled itself to any part of your body, that too a full blooded cobra. So listening that words, everyone fell silent. So this question was raised when they were discussing about snakes. It was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. I heard a snake from I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. The sound was a familiar one. One could say that rats and I shared the room. I took out my box of matches and lit the kerosene lamp on the table. So it was he's saying that he's saying the story, no? So in that story, he's saying that it was a hot summer night, about 10 o'clock, and I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to his room. So he's saying that it is night around 10 o'clock, and he had his meal in restaurant and he returned to his room. After returning, he heard a noise from above as he opened his door. So the sound was a familiar one, means which is common to him. That sound is very common to him. One could say that rats, means that sound. Once, if anyone listen that sound, they can say that the sound was made by rats. And I shared the room. So he thought it is rats, and he shared his room. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. So thinking like that, he removed matchbox and he lighted the kerosene lamp which is on the table. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase along with some shirts and dhotis, and I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. So he's saying that this house was not electrified. Not electrified means that house don't have power connection. It was a small rented room. It is a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. So he is saying that he has just set up his medical practice in that small room and his earnings were meager. Meager means too small in amount. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase. He has only 60 rupees in his suitcase along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. He's saying that uh, he has 60 rupees. Along with it, he has shirts and dhotis in his suitcase. And also he have one solitary black coat which he was wearing. I took off my black coat, white shirt and not so white waist and hung them up. I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard. It had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. There was no ceiling. There was a regular traffic of rats too, and from the beam. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air, but the wind god seemed to have taken time off. So, he is saying in the story, he is saying about his, means he is explaining about his room. So he is saying that I took off my black coat, white shirt and not so white waist, and he hung them up, means he removed his black coat, shirt and waist, and he hung them in his room. He is explaining about the room. I opened the two windows in the room, means his room have two windows. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard. It had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. There was no ceiling. So he is saying that that room has no ceiling, and one of the wall is facing the open yard, and his and the room of that uh, roof, and the roof of that room was tiled and tiled with long supporting gables. There was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. He's saying that regularly the rats will uh, regular traffic means rats are moving from here and there in the room and also on the beam. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. So I made my bed means he set his bed and he pulled it close to the wall. I lay down but I could not sleep. Means he laid on the bed but he was unable to go to sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air. So as he is not getting sleep, he got up and he to went to veranda to get some air. But the wind god seemed to have taken time off. So he is saying that when he went to veranda for little air, even the wind god also taken time off for the wind. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. So as he went out into the veranda for a little air, but there was no air in the veranda. So he went back into his room and sat down on a chair. I opened the box beneath the table. Means beneath means under. He opened the box which is under the table and took out a book. The name of the book was The Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. So he opened that book on a table where the lamp and a large mirror was locating. A small comb lay beside the mirror. Also, a small comb was there beside the mirror. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near. I took a look. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried and was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again, I heard that sound from above. So, he's saying that one feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near. That is true, right? Even we also, if we find a mirror near to us, we start looking into the mirror. The same way, the doctor, when he was sitting in front of the mirror, he also got tempted and started looking into a mirror. And he is saying that in those days, I was a great admirer of beauty and I believed in making myself look handsome. So he says that in those days he was a great admirer of beauty. Admirer means a person who admires somebody, and he used to believe himself that to look handsome. I was unmarried and was a doctor. And also he was unmarried. At the same time, he is a doctor. That's why he want to look handsome. I felt I had to make my presence felt. So he was thinking that uh, everyone should feel my presence over there. Means he should be that much uh, it means he should look that much handsome. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. So he picked up the comb in front of the mirror and he started combing his hair to look neat. While combing, he heard the same noise uh, from the top of the room. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and doctor. So, while combing, he took a close look of his face in the mirror and he made an important decision that he would shave daily and also grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. To look more handsome, he had decided to grow a thin mustache. Mustache means hair that grows on a man's top lip between the mouth and nose. And he is telling to himself that I was after all a bachelor and doctor. As he is bachelor and doctor, so he wanted to look handsome. That's why he want to shave daily and grow a thin mustache. I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth shaking decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face. To look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and doctor too, on top of it. So, after looking into the mirror, he smiled. That smile was very attractive. So he made another decision. What was the first decision? He want to shave daily and to grow a thin mustache to look handsome. So the second decision was, uh, I would always keep that attractive smile on my face. The second decision was he want to maintain that attractive smile on his face. Why? To look handsome. And again he was telling to himself that after all I'm a bachelor and also a doctor too. Again came that noise from above. While he was talking to himself, again he heard that same noise from above. I got up, lit a beady, and paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. I would marry. I would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, she could not be able to run after me and catch me. So, uh, after taking those two decisions, he got up and he lit a beady and paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me means another lovely thought struck his mind. What it was, he wanted to get married, and uh, even that woman should be a doctor with plenty of money and a good medical practice, and also she should be fat for a valid reason. Why? If he make any silly mistake and need to run away, she could not means she should not be able to run after him and catch him. With such thoughts in my mind, I resumed my seat in the chair in front of the table. there was no more sounds from above. Suddenly there came a dull thud as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Surely nothing to worry about. Even so, I thought I would turn around and take a look. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. The snake's landing on me and my turning were simultaneous. With means he was how many decisions he took? Three decisions. What were they? The first one was he want to shave and grow a thin mustache. Second one was to keep that attractive smile in his face. And the third one was to marry a to marry a woman who is also a doctor and all, with plenty of money. So, with such thoughts, he resumed his seat in the chair in front of the table. So, while after sitting in the chair, there was no more sounds from above. Suddenly, there came a dull thud as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. So there was no sounds from the above, but suddenly there came a dull thud. Thud means the low sound that is made when a heavy object hits something else. So sudden thud as if means that sound was like a rubber tube has fallen to the ground. Surely nothing to worry about. So he was thinking it may be a rubber tube and there's no worry about that sound. Even so, I thought I would turn around and take a look, even though he thought to have a look in the room. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. So, as he was thinking to look around the room, he turned. Then a fat snake wriggled. Wriggled means to move about. Move about the back of the chair and landed on his shoulder. The snake's landing on me and my turning was simultaneous. Simultaneous means done at exactly the same time as something else. So, the snake landing on him and his turn was simultaneous. Hard words from this lesson are coiled, homeopath, attentively, restaurant, ceiling, mustache, bachelor, attractive, wriggled, simultaneous. So, children, write these hard words in your notes and learn the spellings. And also, the home assignment for you is write the hard words in your notes and find the meanings for them. Means you have to write those hard words which I have given you, and you have to find the meanings for those words and write them in your notes. Okay, students, we will continue the remaining lesson in the next class. Thank you. Have a good day.